Good afternoon. The scout's been busy lately. He is kind of slacked off on his duties as a reviewer, I guess, if you want to say such. There's no demands on me at all. I just do it because I want to do it. It's not because I have to do it. But nonetheless, I've been rather busy doing a lot of other things. So I haven't put out the amount of reviews this summer that normally would. We've moved. I have experimented and experimented and experimented. We're going to have to get used to when I'm in here, this mic being here. Because this mic does not do very well once you move past that 1 foot range from my mouth. No matter how many 1, 2, 3s I've tested hanging it up here out of sight, off to the side, it just does not. With the software I have, this is as good as it gets. So, we get to have a big white blue snowball here until I can eventually afford a better mic. That being said, we're here for Four Roses single barrel. This is the standard single barrel you get. This is the OBSV, not the store pick OESV from Central that I picked up in Oklahoma when I was with Scott down there to go see Swami. So it's much different than this one. That's 58%. This is your standard 50% pour pick, and I better get busy and pour some if we're going to get on with this review. Got to do two things at once. Anyway, I'll pick it up later. It is a cork, a real cork with the bottle, as you can tell. I have enjoyed this pretty well. I've had it since, I think I bought it in the end of May. I've opened it then. My notes from my review come from 6/17/2018. This is from Warehouse NS. I think it's row 27. If you think of rows like this, and then tier 4, which is the 4th tier of barrels up, C, the 3rd barrel back. So it says NS 274C on it, and that's what it stands for. Warehouse N, south side, 27th row, rack 4, barrel C. And this one, surprisingly, is Warehouse P, south side, row 26, rack 3, barrel G. So they come from real similar places within each said warehouse from south side and similar rows, and they're very different. We're not here for that anyway. Let's get on with the tasting. 50%. Burnt honey, dark amber, however you want to call it. Thick legs. Good viscous coating, slow build. They start to build, they start to drip. They're very fine, close together. It is an NAS, but they lead you to believe they're always around 8 years, plus or minus a few months. And this being the OBSV, this is 60% corn, 35% rye, 5% malty barley. The OESV is 75% corn, 20% rye, 5% malted barley. If I remember right, but I think that's correct. So this is a higher rye mash bill than that. And you get the rye. The rye comes through great on this. I mean, it's just magnificent. You get the cinnamon, rye spices, little pumpkin spice. It's a very spicy one. Black pepper. Think of a Swedish rye cracker. Very little vanilla on the nose. Very little dark caramel on the nose. And oak. You can't ever get away from the oak. The oak is prevalent in this as both nose, palate, and finish. But it's not detracting in any way. So mainly what we're dealing with is very spicy, very spicy nose. And to me, it's quite a good nose. Palate, Again, all the spices. Cinnamon, black pepper, the pumpkin spice, a little nutmeg, more black pepper, the dill still there, good long finish, medium long, very mouth-watering, very silky up front in the finish. And now it's starting to dry out. I like that transition. In the finish, we get more of the cinnamon, but and the spiciness of the cinnamon black pepper spiciness, but it starts to dial back. I get a sour nectarine, nectarine that's just past the point where it's no longer viable. It's no longer fresh. You can still eat it, but it's no longer fresh. It kind of develops a certain little sour note to it. Pretty good. We get a little bit of that fruitiness, and that kind of counterbalances with the vanilla. There is some caramel in there, but it's not very prominent. It doesn't really grab you and run. There is some sweetness and caramel there, but it's very minimal. And this one benefits from water. So we're going to put basically half a teaspoon in. These are 1/8 teaspoons, so I'll add 4 of them. That way I got a little bit more of a controlled measure, and I just dropped a drop on the table. Give just a tad bit more for a little drop I dropped out of it. Ugh, shouldn't have done that. It didn't taste funny. I shouldn't have done it. Oh well. It's not going to hurt me. Dials the spiciness down as you would expect a little bit. But I still don't. I get a little bit more of the vanilla and the sweetness on the nose. But really the nose really doesn't change that much. The oak is still there as well. And the pumpkin pie spice, the spices that you make for pumpkin pie, pumpkin spice, still there. In fact, it's really a little better now. And that's a little bit of that nutmeg in it. This contains both a little cinnamon and nutmeg. The cinnamon, especially like you're chewing on a hot cinnamon toothpick, like we used to get when I was kids. I haven't one in years. Oh yes, water. A little bit of water really makes it shine. It really does. The intenseness of the spices without the water, it lowers that intenseness. All the same spices are there. They're more discernible, easier to pick out, a lot better. The vanilla comes through a little bit more with the water. Still maintains that slight fruitiness from that nectarine. And the caramel still stays in the background. You kind of got to hunt for it, but it's there. It's not real boldly prevalent. Water helps a lot. Thoroughly enjoy it. Paid $42 for it for NS27-4C. If I was so inclined to buy another bottle of 4 Roses single barrel like this, I wouldn't hesitate a minute to pay for it. Score-wise, 87 out of 100. It's a good bourbon. It is a real good bourbon. My scoring is probably a little lower than most other people's, so an 87 is really a good score. Don't think that it's not. I mean, that's a high B+, low A- range, probably, somewhere in there. So, I think we're about done with it all. So anyway, remember the spirit in your glass isn't running from you. Take your time, sip and enjoy it. You'll be better for it. Everyone have a good afternoon.